In a dramatic escalation amid the Emergency Joint Arab-Islamic Summit in Doha, Qatar, on September 15, 2025, speculation is rife that leaders from the Arab League and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, could revive the specter of a 1973-style oil embargo as a response to Israel's recent airstrike on Hamas leaders in the Qatari capital. O3 convened urgently after the September 9 Israeli attack, which has drawn widespread condemnation. The summit, attended by representatives from 57 OIC member states and key Arab nations, aims to forge a unified stance against Israeli actions and pile international pressure on Tel Aviv. 125 While the agenda focuses on a joint declaration and potential diplomatic measures, analysts warn that escalating discussions could lead to economic warfare, with oil-rich Muslim-majority nations considering a blockade on exports to Israel and its allies, echoing the Yom Kippur War-era crisis that once brought Europe to its knees. 4-6. Echoes of 1973, How the Original Embargo Crippled Europe. The 1973 oil crisis serves as a stark historical parallel to the tensions unfolding at the Doha summit. Triggered by the Yom Kippur War, where Egypt and Syria attacked Israel, the Organization of Arab Petroleum Exporting Countries, OAPEC, imposed an embargo on nations supporting Israel, slashing production and quadrupling prices from $3 to nearly $12 per barrel. Europe, dependent on Middle Eastern oil for about 75% of its needs, suffered profoundly. Fuel rationing became commonplace, with Sweden allocating gasoline strictly, the UK imposing speed limits and early TV shutdowns, and countries like Germany and Italy banning Sunday driving. Inflation soared, unemployment rose, and the post-World War II economic boom ended abruptly, fostering an era of austerity and pessimism. France responded by ramping up nuclear power, while the UK faced miners' strikes amid coal shifts. The crisis not only sparked global recession but accelerated energy diversification, like North Sea oil exploration. A 2025 escalation at the Doha summit, potential impacts if an embargo emerges. As the summit deliberates on responses to the Israeli strike, described by Qatari officials as a potential turning point in regional history, hypothetical talks of an oil embargo by key producers like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Iraq, Iran, and Kuwait could weaponize energy once more. 6 With Middle Eastern nations controlling around 40% of global oil exports, a coordinated blockade targeting Israel, the US, and Europe could mirror 1973 but in a more interconnected world. Europe's vulnerabilities remain, despite post-Ukraine war shifts away from Russian oil, now just 2% of imports, replaced by US shale, Saudi supplies, and others. A summit-endorsed embargo might disrupt 20–30% of Europe's inflows, leading to Brent crude could surge beyond $150 per barrel, inflating costs across transport, heating, and industry. Eurozone nations like Germany could see 5–10% price hikes, worsening living costs. Renewables now cover over 40% of power, offering some buffer, but aviation and shipping might face restrictions. Residual Russian importers like Hungary could suffer doubly if the blockade aligns with broader sanctions. GDP could drop 1–3%, pulling Europe into recession amid fragile recovery. Global trade disruptions might exacerbate US-China frictions, slowing worldwide growth by up to 2%. The summit could accelerate Europe's green push, EVs, hydrogen, but short-term fallout might spark protests and policy pivots. China and India could buy discounted oil, realigning global alliances. While OAPEC, OPEC divisions and global spare capacity might limit the embargo's bite, the Doha's high-stakes atmosphere, fueled by outrage over the strike, makes this what-if scenario alarmingly plausible. As leaders wrap up with a draft declaration, Brussels is quietly preparing contingencies, mindful that history's energy lessons could repeat with devastating force.